Welcome back to Make the Machines. And as you see that we're out front, not in the back on the porch, so we're not working on the Cougar today, but we are continuing with the 64 panel. So in the past videos you saw they got it running, got it driving and everything, but unfortunately the transmission's worn out, so I have to repair the transmission. But since it's still only a 3-speed and it's only a 305 that's really worn out, I decided to go a different way with it. So instead of just pulling out the transmission, rebuilding it, sticking it back in and cruising around, I decided I was going to go with a different engine and a different transmission setup. And after that, me and my brother were joking around. I said, oh, we'll do a twin supercharger setup. We're like, oh yeah, we ended up finding a couple M90s for a couple $100, and we bought them, and well, that's what we're doing. So I got those, and I got a 350 for my brother's 70-something Suburban he had a few years back that he got rid of because he didn't have the room for it anymore, which sucks, but it happens. Anyways, that's what I'm doing with the 64. We're putting a dual M90 superchargers on it, and a 350 small block, and I think a turbo 300 or 350 transmission, I forget. But so you go look at what we got. So this is the transmission for it that we got. Same one out of the Suburban old 70. And you guys see this here is the engine and the setup we're going to be using. Like you see, 350. In the next couple of videos, I'm going to be showing what we had to build. So we first started with the base, or the intake, which is for a 671 supercharger. But we used a base manifold, and then we made our custom adapter plate. See here, so I'll be showing you how we built this, and then we had to modify the M90 superchargers, and then we made a custom intake for that. You see. And then we're running carburetor. We don't know, we haven't got a carburetor for it yet. We gotta get one of those. Then we're also made. Now then we also have the pulley system. I gotta run everything, and then we gotta get these finished up still. And we're running an electric water pump to remove the one pulley there to make it easier. So with that, we're gonna be showing how we built the setup for the M90s. just want to show the drawing of it. That's what it looks like.
Yes, this is a rough drawing of what we're kind of doing with this. So right now we're making this red piece. This is 3/8 aluminum for the base, and this maroon piece is 3/8 for the top. So we're going to cut those out. And flat profiles are right there.
Excellent. Okay, so that last clip was sped up by 300%, so you can see how quickly it actually was moving. This clip is not sped up, but we're cutting out different parts. Plasma cutting table actually moves when it's doing its cutout. Ready? Okay, so after it was cut out, we used a grinder, clean up all the edges, off the slag and everything that was left on the plate after cutting it out. You can see there. So, clean it off real quick, and we move on to the next step. So after that, we set the superchargers on where they mount to, on their holes, make sure if they lined up and everything, which it did. So after that, we move on to the step after. Very nice. Okay, so after that, we started doing some machining on the top plate of it. Okay, this is the bottom of the top plate, where we're machining a nice round edge to it to help the airflow. Okay, so after those ports were machined, we moved on to breaking or bending the plates that we needed to bend. So you can see, just the camera down, and then we're gonna break the plates, which is just bending them. Yep. Put your measurement against it. Alright, so with all of our plates bent and broken, what we needed, and now the angles we needed, we now moved on to making the center divider to keep our superchargers interfering with each other. So this goes inside of our manifold, and you'll see a little bit later exactly where it goes and how it actually is. But we made it out of a pipe, so we cut it in pretty much in half, and then we cut that in half, so you make two little quarter pieces of it. But yeah, so you'll just make that real quick, and we move on to welding. Okay, so you see, this is the splitter here that we just made out of the pipe. We're going to tack it, get it welded together, and then we're going to see how it goes onto the base, because we're going to be putting the base box together next. Okay, so now we do our full weld up on the splitter. And after that, get it all ready to put in the box. As you can see here, we're going to be tacking on to that. So we got the base plate, and then we're tacking in our little splitter in the middle. And you see the bottom left there corner, you see how it's angled there, so we got to cut our center splitter at an angle so we can put the back cap on. Or make sure measuring everything, get it all in there correctly, and continue on. Okay, so I'm missing the footage of putting the front cap on, But we're tacking the back cap in now. Once we're done with that, we're going to flip it over, tack up the top of it, and then full weld the whole base. And then we're going to put the top plate on. Alright, so our whole base is put together. It's all tacked up, and now we're going to start full welding everything. Now this clip is about a half an hour long, so I can't really speed it up or anything, otherwise it's going to be 10-20 minutes of just welding. And this is pretty much all the footage looks like. Just moved at different angles, so I'll cut through it and I'll show you like the best looking things I can. But yeah, it's mostly just a bright light. And stuff moves around every now and then. But that's it. So this is just right after we finish welding it all up. All finished, all done, so you can see what it looks like. Why is the video up? And don't forget, after you're done all welding and everything, it's going to be really hot after. And since this is aluminum, the whole entire thing is compensated with heat. So it's, don't touch any of it without gloves. After that, we let the bottom cool down, and then we hit it with this grinder, the flapper wheel. Just made it nice and smooth, took out some of the edges there, the sharp points, so we could put the top plate on top. And it's a flat mounted surface, so then we get that on there, measure it all out, get it all fit correctly so we could weld that on next. Now it's all set perfectly where we wanted it. The first thing we did is tack up the 4 corners, and then we proceeded to full weld the whole entire top plate on. Okay, so we let the manifold set overnight, let it cool, and now we're on to the machining process. Because it was hot and we have to make sure we have a nice flat surface so to seal. Because we don't want no leaks or anything, it's an intake. So therefore, we're now machining it off. We're doing a nice plane cut. And there we go. So this is the bottom, the part that mounts to our 671 manifold. Okay, so you saw, finished the bottom. Unfortunately, the top footage got corrupted and not usable, so all I have is this with no audio. So this is the last bit, last corner. You can see the bottom left there, underneath the tool bit, is what we got left, and I'm going to show it in real time, not speeding it up or anything, so you can see actually how long and how slow this thing actually goes. But enjoy, and we'll be back once it's done. After the is all machined off and everything's all set up, now we have the CNC machine that she's going to drill and tap all of the bolt holes we need. This is a little sped up video of it doing it. Once that's done, we have our completed bottom half, which is all set up and ready to mount our superchargers on. And after that, I'll show you the finished product. And with all that work done, this is our final product. You can see on my base, and we have the modified supercharger on top. Well, I'll show how we modify the next video. You can see, so we got our superchargers mounted on our splitter plate. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and always like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully you come back to see the next video. Thank you again, and until the next video.